think I need to slow down.
Yeah? I'll help you.
I have the most amazing wife on the planet.
Don't take this the wrong way.
What?
I would prefer it if you didn't drink.
Ah, yes. Young drunks in love. It's so romantic.
That's the only way to love.
I think so, man.
So what's going on? Is AA sponsoring movies now? Is that what they paying for? Since we got Flight and now this movie, really? I'm like, man, watch these movies. Okay, fine, I get it. I'm not going to drink booze no more.
Well, they're doing a horrible job if they are, because all these movies make me want to do is just drink more. I'm like, man, these guys are having a blast, flying airplanes upside down, like getting laid all the time. Oh man, who said drinking's a bad thing?
Man, I'm telling you, is it bad that I actually looked at this movie and thought, man, this is taking me back to the day when I used to go and pick up the drunkest girl at the bar. You know, I used to look for the weakest girl in the herd and single her
the
out.
drunkest girl in the bar that would end up peeing in your bed like the following day.
Yeah, I feel like
that sounds hot.
I feel like y'all aren't watching the last 30 minutes of these movies because they never go well for these people.
No, we don't. We're too busy. We're too busy getting drunk.
Yeah,
we pass out.
Yeah. We're showing up at the theater all messed up. Man, we're talking about Smashed. And in this movie, we have a young couple, Kate and Charlie. And Kate and Charlie, they're cute, man. They're young. They both have a very loving relationship for a young married couple. And they both seem gainfully employed. And they're fun-loving, but wait a minute, perhaps a little bit too fun-loving. Because in addition to all that stuff that we just mentioned, they're also alcoholics. And
yes.
I'm talking about, now we have the alcoholics they're sympathetic and they need help. No, these are the annoying alcoholics. They're the ones that get drunk and they ride their bikes in the middle of the road, causing all kind of traffic jams. They show up and Kate has a job as an elementary school teacher. The movie opens up with her showing up for class, hungover, and she just throws up in front of her kids. and then says that, and then when she's caught, she says, "Oh, yeah, well, that's because I'm pregnant." But how long is that going to last? And this is actually described as a dramatic comedy. And it is funny, but I have to say that the comedy parts of this, they are the most cringe indulging parts of a movie I have seen in a long time. And I've seen movies about murder, rape, genocide, all kinds of stuff. But this is a movie right here where I thought, now there's nobody dying. This is actually a cute kind of, and very short film. But the situations that show alcoholism at its worst, it is just so embarrassing that I thought, man, I remember the days when I did that, and I don't like it either.
Well, it's fun. It's funny that just thinking about this movie that they're actually calling it a comedy. I was like, are you kidding me? The greatest comedy of the year was Flight. I mean, not this.
Yeah.
This was definitely endearing. But you don't. As soon as you get a glimpse of her, and her problem, it's like the movie immediately goes into, okay, now it's time for her to clean up. And, the hardship that people have to go through in order to clean up, especially when you're practically surrounding yourself with alcoholics and your significant other is an all-out alcoholic.
It's funny because there's a lot of movies that really do show the drinking part like it's fun. The way Flight opened up. But this movie right off the bat, yeah, her stomach coming into class with a hangover and throw up in front of a bunch of elementary school kids, they make it not fun just from the very first scene. And I have a long history of loving movies that are uncomfortable and make you cringe. But this one I found very hard to watch. Yeah. I was almost like, I don't know if I can sit through this.
Well, what's so
just
hard,
one thing after the next. Because it's compounded by the lie like, "Oh, are you pregnant? Yeah, sure. Yeah, you said to keep your job, but then how do you keep that going?"
Yeah.
And seeing she has, it's Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's the main character in this role, and she's married to I want to say Jesse Pinkman, Aaron Paul.
Yo, bitch.
Yeah.
Yo, give me another drink, bitch. Yeah. That's the worst Jesse Pinkman ever, by the way.
Yeah.
And she is one of those characters where, man, you like her and it hurts you to watch her fuck up or watch her in the situation where she's got that pregnancy lie out there, and it's like, sweetheart, you need to be working on a way to get out of this, telling people you had a miscarriage or something. When is that shoe, or rather anvil, gonna drop?
Because you're waiting, with that whole storyline that they set up, you are waiting that to drop at some point. And and they even give you hints. Oh, maybe I should tell the teacher, and you're like, no, don't
don't
tell the
do
principal,
it.
don't tell nobody.
Yeah,
keep that. You fucked up. Just just keep it right. Just let it ride till the wheels fall off.
Right.
All right?
Until you fall off that wagon. But man, it's so sad because I mean as you mentioned, Leon, Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays the title character here, and she's cute. And the thing about Mary Elizabeth Winstead, people, I'm gonna tell you something. You saw her in Scott Pilgrim, and you saw her in Death Proof, and you're thinking, oh man, that girl's so adorable. That girl's so cute. I'm here to tell you, I'm kind of joking about girls and drinking too much and alcoholics, because as cute as a girl is, if she's an alcoholic and she's an obnoxious alcoholic, she becomes quickly unattractive. And they did a great job at making Mary Elizabeth Winstead. First of all, they make her look like a plain person. They really
dress her down.
Yeah,
to
they
where
really do.
She does look plain. It's like you almost don't even recognize her, and it takes a while of seeing her before. Like there's something about her, that actress herself, where it's like even dressed down. After a while, you go like, yeah, but you still got it. I see it in there.
I was watching this, and I was like, wow, you know what? I was like thinking back, like, man, in The Thing, she still looked hot.
I know.
Well, in this
like,
movie,
man.
she was the thing. I mean, she
really was in this movie.
They de-glamorize this girl, and and what's so sad about it is that she seems like a regular person, which makes it easy to relate to her. And even her husband, as we mentioned, played by Aaron Hall. You could tell that they both care for each other very much, but it's hard. The hardest part of this movie is when she gets on the realization, because she ends up going to AA. She realized after one of the most embarrassing incidents in the movie, she realizes that she does have a problem, and if she wants to keep a job and keep her marriage and keep her life on track, then she needs to do something and go to a program.
I've always drank a lot. Everyone I know drinks a lot. So I never really thought it was a problem. But lately it kind of seems like it is, so. I mean, I just want to be able to have a beer without it turning into 20 or wetting the bed. It just sort of seems like every time I drink, something awful happens, and all the things that used to be funny are not really funny anymore, and things have gone from embarrassing to scary, so yeah, I'm kind of scared.
But when she goes to that program, she kind of realizes that, wait a minute, I had the biggest enabler in my life is the guy that I'm married to, and that's not going to end well, because Aaron Hall, he really does care about her.
Well, it's funny because that's not funny because they're taking you through a realistic cycle of what it's like for somebody who's trying to recover from alcoholism. I don't know if you guys ever saw this old Blake Edwards movie, Days of Wine and Roses, and it stars Jack Lemmon, and it's almost the same story where it's showing people who are like common people you see all the time who like to drink and have fun, don't think of themselves as alcoholics, but behind the scenes you see that like, yeah, they really do have a problem, and it's like a very realistic, take on like, hey, this is what it's like that you aren't seeing. People recognizing that like, oh shit, this is out of control. And it's a realistic thing where, you're trying to get off your whatever substance. And the hardest part is realizing like, wow, everybody in my social structure is doing this. And they're going like, man, you don't have a problem. You just like to drink. Here, have another drink. If you got a problem, that means I got a problem. I ain't got a problem. So drink up. Everybody has a vested interest in you not doing what's right for yourself. And the only way is to get rid of them. And it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, and what, that's part of the whole like process of watching this movie is just seeing all the obstacles. Even when she's trying to sober up, the interesting character she meets.
Oh yeah.
Like what the Ron Swanson.
Yeah. Nick Offerman. Yeah.
Yeah. Nick, yeah. That guy. I thought he was great in this.
He
movie.
was, man.
But,
he stole every scene he was in.
And I guess that's where the comedy comes into play, even though, watching it, I felt so uncomfortable and I felt bad. I'm like, well, there seemed like a good thing there, but there goes that relationship. But shockingly, no, he's still around. And it was kind of odd, like the way that they presented this one joke where you think, ooh, this is something like borderline, like so offensive. Why would you ever want to be around this person again? It seems like almost like a creepy. He presented himself as this real creepy person that had ulterior motives. Yet she still friended him. But I did like how they kind of got over that weird hump with that.
That was actually probably my favorite thing in the movie. Mm-hmm. The fact that he does, like, at first he's a friend and he does something that really steps over the line.
Fucked up.
Oh yeah, it totally is. And in any movie, somebody does that, they're completely written off. Mm-hmm. But in real life, sometimes people will fuck up and step over a line. But that doesn't mean that has to be the end, especially like, you see they feel embarrassed about it and it's not going to happen again.
I guess they treated him like he was retarded, which I was like, okay.
I mean, that's the thing. Whenever he came on, it was painful and you felt pain for him because he knew, like, wow, I really blew it. I wish there was some way I could take this back. I don't know what I was doing. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing about that I like about the movie, where there's a lot of people that you're going to see in the movie that you see in bigger films and you are in television. As we just mentioned, Nick Offerman, who from Parks and Recreation. I've always saw that guy. I mean, there's something about when you see an actor playing a certain character and you don't see them playing any other kind of role. They are that character. Like you expect them to be that person in real life. And Nick Offerman plays more of a sensitive, nerdy type character in this movie. The other and that's where the comedy actually comes in, because the comedy of errors here, so to speak, is that this is a girl who's trying to get on her road to recovery. She's trying her best to get her life back on track. And the people,
and he's helping her.
Well, the people that are actually helping her, some of these people are also fucked up in other ways too. And it's like, damn, can this girl ever catch a break from trying to do well? You know what I mean? She's trying to do the right thing. And
I mean, she's getting help from other people who are sick as well. They're recovering, but they still have the problem
but
too.
You know what? When your sponsor is Octavia Spencer, and you realize the fucked up shit she did, like making them shit pies. Right. I loved her scene when she popped up on the screen. She's like, I've done a lot of terrible things, and all I was waiting for was like, I even made this lady eat my own shit one time.
That's what I'm talking about. You see Octavia Spencer in this movie, and you just think that she's the woman that makes pies out of her shit from The Help. So I'm thinking, man, okay.
I wish they would have given her a bigger part, though. I thought her part was really small, surprisingly.
Yeah,
she is the bigger part. You seen the size of that woman? But anyway, hey,
come on now.
Hey, everybody, thank you.
If she ain't white, you don't want to get to know her.
Those shit pies got a lot of calories, man. Come on.
I'm in a 12-step program. I'm gonna get with a black girl one day. But no, man. I think that this is okay. So we saw this movie very close to another film. I mean, if we didn't see this movie so close to Flight, we probably wouldn't even be mentioning that film. But since we've already brought it up, this is exactly what I was talking about. When we mentioned the Flight review, I said how Hollywood likes to take simple character pieces and they like to blow them up with spectacle and grandiose performances and cast of big name actors, and that's fine and it works. I have no complaints about that. But this movie, this is the total opposite. I mean, it's the same subject, somebody suffering from alcoholism, suffering the consequences of it, and trying to get their life back together. But unlike that movie, this movie is less than an hour and a half. It's an hour and 25 minutes compared to the 2.5 hours that the Flight was. And this is a really personal movie. It's almost, if I had any big complaints about it, it's almost as if it goes by too fast. It's because it's so short, because there are moments where, for example, here, she goes into a 12-step program and then they cut to a montage of her in that program, blowing out cakes and shit like that. And then they cut to her. You never get to see that struggle, really. I mean, you get to see the points where she messes up and she has to pay for that, but you never get to see the struggle with the alcoholism itself as far as making that transition within that program.
I have to admit, though, I thought they did a pretty damn good job of showing her struggling with her alcoholism. Especially, when you realize she's a school teacher, she has so many people she has to deal with, especially her husband. I kind of thought they dropped the ball during a scene where something happens to her, something very pivotal in the movie, and they completely like skirt by it. It's like the next day, and I was like, well, wait a minute, this something like really bad happened to her, and we don't really see her, rise up from that at all.
What? Okay, what was it?
I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, was it early on in the movie or was it?
No, it was later in the movie. It was later when, and I don't want to spoil it. I was going to say when she fell off. You know?
I see what you're saying.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Actually,
talking about, man.
I think those 2 points connect to each other because it's the thing that keeps me from giving it like the highest rating is that it's too short. Like normally I'm like, hey, great, a short movie, but it is so much of it goes like, well, you know how this goes. It's like, no. Maybe I know how it goes in other movies, but I want to see how you're doing it. Like it's so short. It's too short to have montages. I'm like, don't montage.
Yeah.
Play this out. And even the thing you're talking about, that's one of those where like, you know, don't just gloss over this and go like, oh, you know what it is. Like, no, I don't want the shorthand. You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Show me everything.
Yeah, because that would have been a real interesting, to see, how that outcome would have been.
I mean, we talk about consequences, but when we have to see that's another scene I'm talking about that you're talking about, co-host. There are certain things that happen, and when we should be able to go into almost like the psychology of it, not that you fucked up and now you gotta pay for it this way. I'm talking about the deep psychological emphasis of I am really struggling with this. I never got that. I got that. Okay, she's an alcoholic. This is what happens. Oh, she went to a 12-step program, and now because of that, things are okay. But I never felt like, oh man, this is really, really heartbreaking to see her have to struggle to get through this. It just kind of said, okay, like you said, Leon. All right, you're here. This is the problem. And this is what happens if you decide to take care of it. You know what I mean? It's almost like a brochure for AA.
Like I said, it's almost like this movie sponsored by AA. Like they're trying to convince you, like, see how easy it is? Just come to a meeting. That's all.
Yeah, come on. You can do it too.
It's like a multiple choice.
Almost like a choose your own
picture.
right one. Oh, all right.
You come to a couple of meetings and you're cured.
Yeah.
But what's the problem? What's the big issue?
And listen, when we talk about how low you can hit with alcoholism in this movie, there's a scene in here that we cannot even tell you what happens, but it is low. It is just nasty. It just makes you want to roll up a newspaper and say, "Girl, get your nasty ass off the floor." Just nasty, man.
Get your ass a litter box.
Right. You swat her on the nose with the rolled up newspaper.
God damn, talk about no human dignity whatsoever.
See, where you're freaking out about this. I've seen girls do this more than a dozen times.
Oh, are you serious? Wait, ain't talking about videos you will look at on the internet now.
No. Out in public on 6th Street. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Damn, what kind of friends do you have, co-host?
Fucked up kinds.
Yeah, maybe you should start a 12-step program.
No kidding.
Yeah, 12 steps to putting a foot up somebody's ass. That's nasty, man. It's just some things you see some people do. You like, I want to help you. And then some people say, you know what, you just need somebody to beat the shit out of you real quick for that.
Hey, Corey, you don't want any part of those steps.
I love that. We open our own rehab. As soon as people walk in, we just there with baseball bats. And then we step in there like, oh, no.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how our 12-step program would be more like Scared Straight? But I tell you, the points where we do see her suffering, I'm talking about those really low points where it brings her down into her most embarrassing moments. Those really work, and it's like I said, it's a more personal film. And I like, maybe it's because it did have so many good things in there that I wanted more, because when you have a movie that has a very simplistic approach like this to its subject matter, it really does make you feel closer to these characters and you want to get to know them more. I felt like this is somebody that you're hanging out with, but this is not a friend. You know what I mean? This is somebody you got drunk with the night before, but you never got to see what happens when they try to get their shit together. So
this is an ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
This is like those chicks I picked up at the bar. No, this is a high matinee for me.
I'm right there with you, and maybe it's because of everything that was good. It hurts that much more that it didn't have those things that were important. Mm-hmm. And it ends up being watching somebody who you see at the bar, you go like, that's a shame, because I knew when they used to be able to do better for themselves, as opposed to a deep friend who you're wanting to help. I mean, you do root for her, and there's just times like she is great at being that cute but annoyingly drunk chick. Like, you see them at the bar all the time where they're drunk and obnoxious, and you're like, man, I would want to come talk to you, and now I just want you to get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
And you feel sorry for whoever is stupid enough to take him home. It's like, good luck with that, pal.
Yeah, I know. You tried to stop me many a night, Leon. I wish I'd listened.
to no avail. And also, it's great having Aaron Paul in it, but he doesn't really like escape the orbit of Jesse Pinkman. I mean, he's not quite Jesse, but kinda in a way. But still, it's such a good movie to watch, but I still have to give it ultimately a high matinee.
Yeah, it's kind of scary and sad when you feel like you guys said, you've seen this girl in a bar. It's worse when you actually know this person.
Sure.
Like even in the movie, she looked exactly like this girl that I still know that had this like big, drinking problem.
Yeah.
Even in the movie, I was like, holy shit, that is her. It looked like her. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Watching it, you completely, you fall for this girl, even though you know she's having these problems. You sort of fall for it because you realize she's trying to do her best to, treat this problem responsibly as much as she can. It's just all the characters she's surrounded by that make, just like in life, it makes it that much harder.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Try not to drink for a week. It is fucking tough as hell, especially when you got people around you who don't give a shit, Corey.
All right, Ghost, we'll lay off.
But then that's the thing. I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead was phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah,
she was great. She really did carry this movie. And yeah, I wish they would have given more for Aaron Paul to do. Yeah, because you're right. You can't help but get that Jesse character stuck in your head. Like when he's not there, you think he's off making meth. Right. So I mean, it's like you kind of fill in all those blanks. But Nick Offerman, as odd as the decision was to bring, to what he did in the movie, as odd as that was, I still very much enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a big problem for me. I wish I could have seen more of Octavia Spencer, just because they built her character to a point where I thought she was going to have a bigger role. But other than that, though, no, it is like you said, it's kind of like AA for dummies and alcoholics. So I mean, I'm giving it a matinee. I enjoyed it, and it's that good.
And that's another thing about this movie that I thought was kind of a fault, that they brought in these actors and actresses that you imagine them being in bigger roles or doing different things. You're right, Leon. Aaron Hall, it's not that he's necessarily doing Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad. Is that maybe that's just his personality, and he's not really required to do anything different. Now he's not like, yo, bitch, dumb like that in this movie.
No, he's not.
He's actually.
You could tell they casted him specifically to play this guy because it's probably they probably wrote it for him.
But
it makes me wonder if this was written and then they were like, hey, we got these bigger name actors than we expected to get. And so, for them, it's like, hey, this is great. And for us, we're going like, well, if you're going to get them, how come they couldn't do something bigger? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, it was never planned that way. Come on, you guys.
I will say this is that even though he's not doing anything too different, he gave one of the most sympathetic performances in the movie, and he's the fucking problem. So
I know.
Yeah. He was good.
But he was very good. And I agree with you too. Octavia Spencer, she's a big enough actress right now where I thought she would have made a bigger role. But I'm also used to these actors and actresses coming into smaller movies like this just so that they can do something different, regardless of whether they have a large part in the movie or not. So I can also kind of forgive that. Yeah, it is a movie where you want anybody that who has a drinking problem, you do want to go out and help them. Or you can just tell them to move to Austin, where it
could be just one of many.
Where you turn into a sophisticated alcoholic instead of an all-out alcoholic. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we call them we call them alcoholics anywhere else. Here in Austin, we call them hipsters. So come on in.
It's hard to live your life honestly,
This calls for a celebration. Let's have some Bloody Marys. Come on in.
I stopped drinking.
Oh, are you pregnant?